Hey everyone, it's Claire at the Allentown Art Museum. Happy Textile Tuesday. Today I wanted to share with you a embroidery that's currently on view in our American galleries by Mildred Johnstone. And so when I look at this, my eye goes right to the center, to this bright white figure surrounded by red. This embroidery is titled Bride in a Blast Furnace. And Johnstone recreates the architecture of Bethlehem steel at its height. This was made in 1950. And so you see these towers, all of these smokestacks with smoke spraying out. You see this wonderful trail with the French knots going through here. We also have little stars throughout the sky, as well as stars that suggest sparks or action happening. So there's just so much great texture and the way that stitches are used in this composition. And all of these color contrasts, there's so much black and blue and red kind of on the outer parts of the structure. And so that really makes the bride stand out in her white. So Mildred Johnstone was the wife of an executive at Bethlehem Steel, and she was really interested in representing ideas about industry and femininity in her work. This is one of several works that she made that could be considered self-portraits. She actually has some that show a female figure in an ingot of steel being ready for shaping and molding at the mills. So she was really interested in this idea of society molding and shaping and the role of women. And of course, she's also using fiber art for her medium, which is traditionally seen as a feminine art form, especially in the 50s, before it was really recognized as something that could be a fine art medium as opposed to just home decor. So her work is really interesting in how it deals with these issues. One thing I also really enjoy about this is knowing that during World War II, there were many women who were employed at the steel plant, sort of Rosie the Riveter type figures. And at the end of the war, these women were sent home and replaced with male staff members who were then working at the plant. And so in 1950, when Mildred Johnstone made this embroidery, the only jobs women were allowed to have at Bethlehem Steel were as a secretary or as a telephone operator. And so you see these two figures towards the outer edges. This one here reminds me of a secretary at a typewriter. And the other figure towards the opposite edge, she makes me think about a telephone operator sitting on a tall stool, plugging in all those cords to connect the calls. So just some really fascinating imagery and also themes from this era. And of course from a local artist, which is really exciting. So the last day to see this work in our galleries is Sunday, August 18th. So I invite you to come out and see it before it comes down. We'll be changing out the textiles and works on paper in our American galleries over the coming weeks because these are light-sensitive materials, and so we want to keep them in storage to preserve them for future generations. But we'll also be introducing over 60 new works into the galleries during this time. So come now, come later this fall and see the new rotation. We'd be excited to have you here.